Hi, Tim Moss. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Wendy Stuart?
I am doing amazing because you know why? Today is Wednesday. It's 2 o'clock and we're on If These Walls Can Talk. And it's
Yay!
Pride. Oh my God.
Yes, yes,
How
absolutely.
totally incredible has Pride been so far?
Yeah, it's been nonstop. It really
Not
has been. And
nonstop.
it's
And
so
last night was
well, firstly, everything is so celebratory because
yes.
we're all coming back out. We're all back
I mean, no,
together. The masks are coming off, and everybody is just thrilled to be back
flawless. The
together.
masks are off and it's flawless. And now people can see all those lip injections that we
Yeah,
went and had right before we knew the masks were coming off. My God, that mask, it's like, why spend a penny on an injection? You know
right.
what I'm saying, Tim. So last night, I have to
Last
say,
night.
at
Oh,
Pangea, oh my God. First of all, a little promotion here for my amazing husband, Alan Kaplan.
yes.
Pangea hung his artwork in the hallway. So when you come here, you'll get to see these 4 absolutely beautiful paintings. I'm very
Absolutely
excited about
stunning.
that. You got to pass them as you entered into the cabaret room, which
Mhm.
Toby Cole blew it out of the water last night. On it was amazing,
Incredible.
right, Tim?
It was
What?
amazing.
Yeah,
Just the amount of talent that he pulled together,
it,
the
it,
show, and every one of those performers brought it. They just brought their A game, and it was
they
off
brought
the
their A
hook.
game. I love that. I mean, we had 2 people here from Canada that were hilarious. The female was an amazing singer, and the guy was like
Oh, yes.
he kept going A and was so funny, and they were so different than everybody else. Robert Garcia, unreal,
Robert Garcia, yeah, my baby
unreal.
girl, yeah.
JC Vega. I mean, you know what? I could go right down the list. JR,
Oh,
Ryan
J.R. Price, yeah.
Alejandro,
Uh-huh.
just one after the next. Aviva, whose show is here on Thursday, totally blown away. I tell you, everybody, you need to come here. His next show will be the last Tuesday of the month in July.
Mhm.
God forbid Kobe should give us a date.
Yeah.
So I'm letting you seriously, folks. And I get on him with this all the time. But it's the last Tuesday night in July at 9:30. It's called Nouveau Riche, and it's just
It
absolutely
it it really is. But
unbelievable.
last night's, I don't know, it was packed. The
Packed.
room was packed on a Tuesday night, and it was just kind of a sign of everybody knew that it was gonna be something special, and it was the Pride edition,
No,
and
you're right. Everyone knew
Michael Musto performed,
it
and
was so fun with a
yeah,
duet. But you know what really blew me away? We had some walk-ins, but they're
uh-huh,
like walk-ins. Why did they walk in on this night? Because they were amazing.
yeah,
Sylvia Ramos had just finished at Birdland. The fact that she was done performing and she came here to perform again, and it was just an unreal night. That's all I can tell
mhm.
you. So I got to give a shout out to my co-host Tim Moss,
Oh.
Mr. Bronx Pride. All I love seeing you get awards for all the work you've done for the
Oh, thank
LGBTQ
you.
community. And speaking of Bronx Pride, on my show at 7 o'clock tonight, Triversity Talk, which is on the Triversity channel on YouTube
Mhm.
or the Triversity Center page on Facebook. Amazing show tonight because we're talking about Bronx Pride. I've got the queen of Bronx Pride, Apollonia
The Queen
Cruz,
of the Bronx, Apollonia Cruz, yep.
right? And who else would be the perfect co-host tonight but Lady Clover Honey?
Perfect.
Perfect. So yes, Tim, I hope you're not flying anywhere tonight. Maybe you can tune in because I'll give you a shout out tonight too. I love
Well, I do have an event I think I'm gonna be going to in Harlem, but it's kind of jump in, jump out. I'm pass in and pass out.
that's Tim. He
But
jumps in and jumps out. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes he jumps out of a cake,
yes.
and it's just so totally fabulous when that
Yeah,
happens.
but I this past week, as far as the Bronx goes, I was borough hopping and event hopping. The Bronx Borough President had the LGBT and Ally Awards in the Bronx, and then I left there to go to the Stonewall Democrats down in Midtown.
Right.
And the night before, or no, I'm sorry, that was the night I had to perform at the Bronx LGBT
Right.
Expo.
You were right.
Yeah,
You were
I
performing there as
performed, and then I left there to go to the Stonewall Democrats, and I literally bumped into this man, And I said, "Oh, hi, who are you?" And the guy standing next to him goes, "Who is this?" And because they're all very political at Stonewall, Democrats. And he goes, he just very graciously reached out his hand and he said, "Hi, I'm Mark Levine." And I said, "Oh my God, the new Manhattan borough president."
Oh, that is, you definitely want to rub shoulders with him.
So later I was circled around and it was packed in there. And I walked by him and I said, "Don't I know you?" And he just laughed. So I love a person with a good sense of humor.
Right.
Bill de Blasio was there. I hung out with him, talked to him for a little while. And I asked him, I said, "So how are you doing now that you're not in office?" And without missing a beat, he goes, "I'm loving my freedom." And I'm like, "I'm sure you are."
I'm really sure he is.
That job of being mayor, it was just insane. But there was a lot of like Jerry Nadler. I don't remember if he's a senator or a congressperson, but yeah, from
so amazing.
Washington. So it was just a great group of people and
that's what Pride is, right? It brings all people together. We have also, I don't want to forget, Sunday, for those of you who are marching, I will be marching with the Imperial Court of New York, and we are in the beginning of the march. When does this ever happen for me?
Right.
I'm usually standing around for 5 hours when I always did it with Triversity, my group from Pennsylvania, 5 hours for World Pride, and people saying to me, "Wendy, why is it taking so long?" Like it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like it's my fault.
Just real quick before we get started, I just want to read a couple of. We normally do this later, but I just saw a couple of people. One is Brian Alejandro Scott, who is our buddy. He was on our show. He said, and he was performed last night at Kobe's show.
Fabulous.
And said, "I love the pair of you. Great seeing you last night." Kobe Cole says, "I love you so much," and we love you, Kobe. And my dear friend, Stephanie Salvata Gould. I love her. Hi.
Hi, Stephanie. We don't know each other, but really thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. Oh, and a shout out. I want to give a shout out. June 30th, Abort the Court. Chauncey Dandridge producing it, our producer for this show. Also, he's also performing in it. Really great show. Tickets are available online. I know you can buy them at the door. If you can't make the show, you can donate. All donations gracefully accepted, as we say. I will be performing in that show. There's a group of unbelievable performers. That's June 30th at Stonewall. And I believe it starts at 7:00. I better double check the time, but I'm sure Chauncey will correct me if it's, that's what my producer should do.
And while we're plugging, I leave early morning flight, which I am so not a morning person. But I go to Chicago, and for the next 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, if you're in the Chicago area, go to the Annoyance Theater. We're doing 50 Shades of Gay. 6 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we're going to be in Chicago Pride, taking 50 Shades to Chicago Pride. Yay.
La, 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 la. I'm so excited for you. Happy Pride, everybody. The perfect guest today for Pride. You know her from Burlesque to Broadway, but her current show, Rita Hayworth, the heat is on, and boy, is the heat ever on. She is on fire. Shout out. People give me names of people all the time. My beautiful girlfriend, Mary Cooney, said, "You got to have Quinn Lemley on the show." Here she is in person. Come on in, Quinn Lemley. I'm going to just slide over.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, my God. And
hello, gorgeous.
Hello, Tim. It's so good to see you. It's been forever.
I know.
Last time, Tim knows everybody. When was the last time?
Oh, my God. Remember?
Yes.
Was Barry Z's last show. And how many times have we performed on his float at Gay Pride?
So wait a minute. You know Barry Z?
Of course,
oh my God.
Barry, we were one of his co-anchors.
Oh,
that's when Quinn and I first met. I was a guest we were guests on Barry Z's show. Yeah.
Yes, and we fell in love, and that was the last time we saw each other, and it's been all these years.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Yes.
Well, great. You know what? I often feel on this show, it's always a reunion. Right?
Yes.
Because we're all out there orbiting, and so much time can go by. And then certainly with the pandemic, 2 years went by, although we didn't let any grass grow under any of our feet. But now we're all coming back together again.
It's so exciting to be sitting here without a mask on, or to be sitting in the theater and not looking out, or be performing and not looking at a a bunch of people with masks on.
Right. Well, that's, you know what? I just went to Joey Arias' show, which was brilliant at the Public Theater. Brilliant, Joey. And they were heavy into masks. It's like from the time you set foot in there. And like I got up to take pictures with some people. And they said, you have to have, put your mask on. I'm like, okay, I'm just taking a picture. We're not going to catch COVID in the 7 seconds that I'm shooting this shot in.
It's a lipstick problem too.
Thank you.
I mean, all my Lady Danger Red from MAC Cosmetics, I couldn't wear during the pandemic.
It's like it comes up. You know what? I like Quinn. She's a sensible girl. She's bringing up something that has been a big issue for me. The lipstick color you have on today, I have one like that. And it's
Lady Danger.
It's Lady Danger. I found that in a cheap, like, I'm not kidding, in Dwayne Reed, that color in a cheap lipstick. And the best thing about it, it didn't transfer. Transfer, by the way, is the word we use for it coming off on your mask. It did not transfer at all. And I wore that throughout the pandemic.
Oh my goodness.
My question is why would you wear lipstick under the mask?
Because it comes down, Tim.
Because you have to take the mask down and you have to be glam.
Oh my God.
You know that.
Right.
Well, yeah, but I just figured, if you had the mask on, then you wouldn't have to wear you just wear makeup from here up or something.
Tim, why do you wear your nice underwear or jockstrap?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
you leave the house with your pants on over it. But right? It's the same thing.
Versace.
Right.
Well, the thing is, I never know who I might meet.
Oh no, your friend Versace. That's something.
Versace.
Versace. I totally
No, it's
love
his
it.
Mother. She used to always say, "Oh, Mikey, you're wearing Versace."
I just really want to steal that.
I
So
know.
this is so great to have you here today. You're so busy. You just got back from Montreal.
Yes, we did. We were a month in Canada. We were we produced a show called The Ultimate Queen Celebration, and so we were all over Montreal, Quebec City, Gatineau, Trois-Rivières.
Wait, listen to that French accent. Just say that again for me.
Trois-Rivières, Montreal. I lived in Bordeaux when I was in high school. So
okay, all right, that's why. But she speaks it like a person from the country.
Yes.
How does Quinn Lemley know how to get that in there? So, I didn't realize. I thought you were doing your Rita Hayworth show there too.
Well, I will be eventually, but
Yeah, but
I'm also a producer. So
I know.
with my husband Paul Horton, and
Right.
so we have this great show on Queen, and so we were doing that, and back in time for me to do my show tomorrow night, my final performance.
Wow.
How do you work?
How do you keep it all straight? Well, it's not really straight.
You gotta be a little,
right. But how do you? It's a lot. Like Tim has brought out. We met. He got back from doing a show in Florida, and at the last minute, things started changing because you lost your lead actor and all
We
that.
had to switch cast.
Yeah, and somebody had to learn a part really
insane.
quick. I do not have the ability to do that. I don't have, my brain is a bit of a sieve. And once I learn one thing, yes, I can improv, but I can't do that switcheroo thing.
Yeah,
they
this
get
is-
confused in my head.
My Rita Hayworth show, it has been during COVID. My writer Carter Inskeep rewrote the whole show. I can't.
Oh,
I'm so
wow.
excited you're coming.
I'm so excited to be there.
But it's so great because he rewrote it to make it more contemporary for younger audiences. Because if you're like, Rita Hayworth and living in that, you want to make the issues, the topic to be relevant. So he incorporated the Me Too movement, just like Marilyn Monroe or Rita Hayworth, what they had to go through and the fame and Hollywood and the world and everything, and it's all relevant today.
Well, I think Quinn brought up something that is really relevant. You took a time
and a place,
right, and you have to push it forward. We all know that you have to freshen it up.
And it's also very important to reveal the difference in times, like what was commonplace in Hollywood, like the Rita Moreno came out, I think, with her
she was on 60 Minutes the other day, and Harry Combs, the head of Columbia Pictures, is the protagonist in our show. And it's funny because when I heard Rita Moreno talk about, I was invited to spend a weekend on Harry's yacht, what did that mean? And it was the same thing for Rita Hayworth. And of course her husband conveniently said, he got sick. you should go without him.
So, how what a
But
fun
that's
story.
what I mean, that the Me Too movement has shifted that whole despicable dark side of
Well, but
Hollywood.
back then nobody could talk about it.
No, it was totally blocked out. They had total control over everything.
Yeah, and like Rita Moreno said, she said with her agent, she was like, she said, I had a family to feed.
Right.
My whole family was, and so you just played the game.
You had to go along with it. It's funny that she brought this up because I just got done watching the documentary on J-Lo. It's called Halftime.
Oh, I want to see that.
You both should watch it because it's really a big piece of self-promotion. And she had been planning this thing all along when she was performing here, performing there. You can tell by the camera work, none of it was catch as catch can. But what was interesting, she glossed over from the time she was a fly girl in Living Color to getting the role of Selena. And people I knew in the industry, there was, let's just put it this way. I've been doing it 15 longer years than she has. When I started, casting couch was totally real. Wrote about it in my book, She's the Last Model Standing. There's a very big casting director who's no longer with us, Lou DiGiarmo. If you were sent up to Lou DiGiarmo, as I was, he would introduce you to these other people. And, you're coming here to New York. Right from college, I had promotion, bright-eyed, bushy tail. You're working a million jobs and you want this so badly. And you're thinking in your head, oh my God, do I have to do this? And you're planning in your head all different ways to get out of this quote unquote casting couch.
And this happened regularly, daily, constantly, with a constant flow. That's so disturbing.
Well, I'm anxious to hear what you think about the show, because I'm just so proud, because it's told like she's salty, she's witty, she owns it. Because I think a lot of times, people just kind of covered it up, and in this story, she has to figure out the mystery of her life before she can move on to the next dimension. So she's kind of discovering like the choices that she made in her life that and she's taking ownership of it too, saying, you know what, I was the person that did that. I wasn't a victim. Right. I was a strong, powerful woman, and I did what I had to do, including
and I like that. Right.
And she was the first princess before Grace Kelly. She married Ali Khan, and she made sure.
I forgot about
Princess Yasmin. She fought and fought and fought so that Yasmin got the equal inheritance as the boys. And in a Muslim culture, Ali Khan, he didn't want to give it to her, and Rita Hayworth fought. And ironically, when she had Alzheimer's, it was her daughter that took her in.
I remember reading it,
and she was the first celebrity to have Alzheimer's, and they thought she was an alcoholic, and it wasn't.
I bet there were probably. By the way, I am learning so much from you. I'm so jazzed to see the show tomorrow night. But I'm wondering how many of them back then, just like they hid the fact that they had to sleep with people for parts. I wonder how many had gotten sick with Alzheimer's, and it was of course hidden, or they were called alcoholics.
Right. Because they thought it was erratic behavior. And and they said, and there was that famous picture of her coming off of Heathrow where she's all disheveled, and they were like just saying, oh, poor Rita, she's on pills or drinking. And
well, they love to do that anyway, right? Don't they love to out celebrities that way? I am curious, Quinn, how did this character, this show come about for you? You talked about someone wrote it. Was this written specifically for you?
Yes.
Or you found? I want to hear the whole story.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny we are here on the Lower East Side, because my first show off Broadway was called Bon to Rumba, and I played.
She rolls those R's.
I played a showgirl from Havana, Cuba, and who becomes a nun when she goes to Miami. She escapes with the diamonds and everything in her behind.
Right, as they did, or in the skirt when they left Cuba. They had
all my girlfriends that I mean, one of my best ones, her whole family, they were very wealthy, and they hid all their jewels and their
teased up hair
in their teased up hair. But anyway, I was doing this show off Broadway, and I had friends, Preston and Richie Ridge. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
And anyway, they were like, oh, you look like Rita Hayworth. And I knew every other movie star, but I didn't know about Rita Hayworth. And so they said, "Oh,
Interesting.
you've got to meet Carter Inskeep, who wrote Always Patsy Cline, and you guys
Amazing.
will be together." And so we put together this show, and it's gone through all these versions. And
Metamorphosis. as we call it.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah,
Yes, we're all a
metamorphosis.
work in progress.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting because my husband and producer Paul Horton, he said, "Oh, open the show up to the music of the soundtrack of her life, and not just the music of her thing." And he put us with an 11-piece big band, and we started touring all over the performing arts centers. So during COVID, I mean, I hadn't performed in 2 years. Well, I mean, we're so hungry,
Right.
and hungry to be out there again. And so he was like, "Why don't we go back to where your career began at Don't Tell Mamas, in an intimate setting with a 4-piece band, not the 11-piece band, and you're just right up there and close and personal." And Carter and in the meantime, during COVID, he rewrote the whole book.
Right.
So that's hard to relearn a whole story.
Girl, if it had been me, it would have. I'm like.
But it's so much. But I'm so glad we went through it, because I mean, there were times I hated him because your body still wants to say this.
Right.
Yeah. No, your brain, it gets itched in your.
Yeah, you're trained one way and then have to untrain to retrain.
From the very, very beginning, how many years has this piece been?
It's been about 20 years, but it's a totally different piece now, because
right.
I mean, I put it away, and then we were doing Burlesque to Broadway and touring all over the place. And that's such a fun show. It's a 9-piece band and me and 4 girls, and we celebrate all the icons that went from Burlesque Broadway.
Get out! I love.
I would totally love fans.
Yes, sequence feathers and fans.
You cannot, and like little teases. I think when I saw you, I was promoting Burlesque to Broadway.
Yes.
And I enveloped Barry Z in all those big Sally Rand fans, those hot pink fans. And I had Michael Musto. I had all of you in boas.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
And purple.
I love it. Where does so I want to get back to your show, but I need to know where all this creative energy comes from. Like, did it come out of the womb?
Yes,
I came out of the womb. I knew it.
Another one out of the womb, and I was bumping and grinding and dancing and shimmying
as a kid.
I did. I was so lucky because my granny Lemley lived across the street, and she was my dad's mom.
Okay,
and she was very prim and proper, but she loved her movie stars, and she loved her.
Now, where are you from originally?
Indiana.
Oh my God! Where? What part?
Are you from Indiana?
Yeah.
Where?
Logansport, from the Logansport area. I'm going back there next week after Chicago. I'm going to stop by and see my father for a few days.
Oh my God! I'm from Columbus, near Bloomington.
Oh yeah, down south. Yes,
yeah, I'm from the south.
I was born in IU. I went to IU. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, great campus. Great. Yeah.
I studied.
I love it. I'm surrounded by 2 corn-fed people.
Yes.
2 Hoosiers.
Fresh faced and corn.
No, fresh. You do have the Tim. Tim does so much work on the side in the Bronx, right, for LGBTQ causes, which always blows my mind away, because I'm from the Bronx and he is Indiana, and so are you. And it's just, when you're from a borough, you can sniff that out. Okay. It is, but there's a niceness and a freshness, and the word corn-fed,
or wholesome. Yeah.
Wholesome. There's
wholesome a lot.
Yes,
we used to look at the cows and
cows, silos.
So, but I was always like, our town, Columbus, Indiana, is known for its architecture. It's 20th century architecture.
Wow.
And so, we'd all be all dressed up and no place to go. We'd wander Indiana. So I couldn't wait to come to New York.
You were. They always say some children are born of the world, some are born of the town. I figured you were born of the world, as Tim is also. So were you singing and dancing growing up?
I did.
Did you do pageants and dancing school?
I didn't do pageants, but I did community theater, and then I went away to boarding school. I went to Interlochen Arts Academy up in Michigan.
Of course, that I've heard of.
Where is that? Where is that?
Great. I went there for high school, and then I came to NYU for
that's
college.
Where was the school? Where was the school at? Interlochen.
It's near Traverse City. Oh my God. You think
it's a very famous boarding school.
Yeah, they only do the arts, and they have a famous music camp in the summer, and then the winter school only had 100 people.
Wow.
And we would have like all these famous artists coming in and doing master classes, and
Kids come from all over the world to that
it's a
school.
global-
You have to audition, of course, but they really handpick. It's like
Nice.
Juilliard.
It is.
Uh-huh.
It is. I went there on a
What a
scholarship.
great-
I was so
And she
lucky.
went on a scholarship.
What a great experience.
Yeah, right.
We
Tim?
cross country skied to classes because the snow would get so high, up in upper Michigan.
Right.
Yes.
So snowy and cold and
Uh-huh.
how amazing. And then, of course, logically, you went on to NYU, Tish.
Mhm. And then the minute I came over the George Washington
knew.
Bridge, I know, there's something about New York. You just get this energy right now.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just, and it gets in your body and you can't shake it. And no matter where we travel so much, it's like, but we were in Canada for the past month, and my husband was like, I just want somebody to say, fuck.
Right. I guess
the New York energy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Or to
exactly.
move. We were in San Martin twice in March, and it was beautiful, but everybody was so slow.
yeah, it's slow and it's not you're meant for New York energy. Now you got stranded in Canada. You were texting me. You said we're kind of stranded here.
Yes,
What-
we finished our tour last Thursday, and
And where was that? In Montreal?
we were in Montreal. We did this big amphitheater called Cogeco,
Oh,
and that was in Trois-Rivières. And so
can you say it with the accent?
Trois-Rivières.
Thank you.
It's where all of the
She's
flus
so
come
French,
together.
Tim.
And so anyway, we went to we were on our way to the Montreal airport, and there were like tornadoes and this deluge of rain. So we had to
climate
scrambled.
change.
Thank God we were in the car, and we found a hotel, but we couldn't leave until the next day. And then we come back, and while we were gone, we were supposed to have our bathroom remodeled, and the tile didn't come. And so now we're nomads. We were in Tribeca at a hipster hotel. Now we're in Midtown.
I could have told you,
Man,
Quinn,
you're
the tile
getting-
never comes when it's supposed to.
Yes.
Neither do the sinks or the bathtub. I could have told you that. That's just
Hey,
It's gonna be
but at
beautiful.
least
It's
gonna
going to
be
be
beautiful.
travertine.
Right.
We're going to have like our
Gorgeous.
oasis, but
you're getting to hang out in different parts of the city. That's
Right.
yeah,
Tim, right?
now,
Maybe
and
we'll
now we're
tour
on
the
the
city.
city side.
and you're like you want to tour again.
Yeah, we're pretending we're
on tour.
tourists in New York.
Yeah.
on tour. Well, we have your clip. So
Yes.
I totally want to show that so people can get a taste of the show, because tomorrow night is the last night. And are there
And then
tickets to available?
Yes, they can go make reservations
Great.
at don'ttellmamanyc.com. And you can also go to my website, quinnlemley.com, and sign up for some
Great.
free music. And I'm also next Thursday, the 30th, once a month, I do a free concert online as a gift to people that
How
can't
cool.
come to New York. But it's up close and personal. It's like not with my band. We do it in the studio, and it's Tom Wilson, my musical director, and we just, riff for a half an hour and sing songs.
That is
Fabulous.
amazing. And is there if people go to your website, they can get the information on it?
You can get the website and sign up to my mailing list.
Yeah, I
and I'll
figured
send
it's
it all
connected
out.
to a mailing list.
Yeah.
Great. And what a wonderful gift to give people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
people need music. That's the thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do.
Music is healing.
okay.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the clip here.
Great.
Once was a shooting up in the Klondike when they got dancing. Folks were putting the blame on the lady known as Lou. That's a story that went around, but here's the real lowdown.
25 shows, 11,000 tickets sold out. The Half Note, Athens, Greece. 10 sold out shows. Jocelyn Theater, Palm Desert, California.
I like the green grass under my shoes. What can I lose? I'm Flash, that's that. I'm all alone when I lower my lamp.
Will Friedwald of the Village Voice boast, drop-dead gorgeous looks, old-fashioned glam appeal, make even boomers nostalgic for 46. Lemley sizzles, hails the desert sun. Sexy, spicy, and irresistible, claims Swing Time magazine.
You lie awake, and how you wish that it was morning. And then you smoke 100 cigarettes or more. The devil rain.
The New York Post claims you don't even have to squint to think Rita's in the room. Mysteriously comparable to Hayworth, says Paper Magazine. And backstage raves, Quinn Lemley burns up the stage.
With heart and soul I kiss them and file the memory under M. Tomorrow if I miss them, that may be the only time I think about them. Zip. Will the giants ever take it away? It's wonderful. It's marvelous. Perplexed again. Thank God I could be oversexed again. Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered.
Yay!
Bravo.
Bravo, right?
Wow. Oh my God. I've got so many questions. One is the orchestra. How fabulous. So you toured with this orchestra?
That's my big band. Right now I'm with a quartet. So it's much more intimate at Don't Tell Mamas because it only seats like 60 people. So it's going to be a party tomorrow night for sure.
Uh-huh.
And but yeah, the band is just, we've played all over the country and Canada. And,
how glorious.
Yeah.
But you need it's so funny because we first started out we were at the Kravitz Center down in Palm Beach.
Oh, nice.
And we were at Rinker Hall and we sold out for a week with the quartet. And we were watching Madame Butterfly backstage and at Dreyfus Hall. And I was like, oh, Paul, that's where I want to play because it was all orange and it's like the mat. Yeah. And 6 weeks later, we were playing with the big band.
How? Totally.
I mean, talk about
your intention. I love it.
Right. But now, you need to back it up with, and you have it.
Now, my other thing is when you're portraying someone else, the research that you have to kind of go through with getting to get an idea of who the person is and where the soul is coming from and all of that. How did you go about that?
Well, first of all, when we started this project, there was no YouTube. So I read every book. Carter and I researched everything. We went to the New York Public Library. We read all the magazine articles, all the microfiche and
microfiche,
right?
I remember microfiche.
But the thing was that we wanted to tell a story. Who's to say that Rita Hayworth and Margarita Cancino, that you have this screen persona, the woman that she said everybody went to bed with Gilda but woke up with me. Who's to say that shy Spanish dancer, that girl, that little girl that wanted to be loved. And so we really work hard on having the glamour of the movie star and that persona and that centeredness that movie stars have, and the vulnerability and discovery and wonderment and pain, heartbreak of Margarita Cancino, and what I love about the show is that, you do all the research. I don't do an imitation. I would say it's a portrayal because like if I was doing just recreating exactly every dance move or
Mhm.
every finger or singing. Rita Hayworth didn't sing, so she was dubbed by Anita Ellis and Joanne Greer. So
Never knew that either.
yeah, well, they kept it a secret, and that was Harry
Wow.
Coon's way of like keeping her under his thumb.
So they dubbed her.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm
Nobody
going to do
knew.
that,
Nobody knew.
Tim. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be dubbed.
Then you never have to worry about vocal rest.
Wow, but they
Anyway, I'm just going to go get dubbed.
well, so they kind of kept that because
That's
it was
secret.
part of
That
her
was the secret.
persona.
Right.
Part of
It was
her
a secret. And then
Yeah.
her big thing was that she, in the 70s, in 1971, she was set to take over in applause for Lauren Bacall in, applause.
Yeah,
and Ron Field, who I had the privilege of meeting, he saw me early when I was a freshman in college.
Love it.
And
Wow.
he was telling me these stories that he said she'd be brilliant. And then the next day, nothing.
Wow.
And they didn't know it was Alzheimer's. So she wound up
Wow.
not doing the show, but she did rehearse for 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
So,
But of course it couldn't. She had Alzheimer's.
yeah,
so
she couldn't remember what
wow.
she did.
And again, it was at a time when we didn't know that much about Alzheimer's.
No,
And-
it
and-
didn't
and
come
they-
out
it-
until the
yeah.
80s. Right.
But that uncertainty, oh my God, that
Yeah. So it gave me a lot of freedom. And then also when
Yeah.
Paul had us open up the songbook to like Lady is a Tramp, Sinatra
Love those
sang that to
songs.
her, or That's All,
Wow.
which, like really, really beautiful songs that she didn't necessarily portray in her
Right.
movies.
right, but they're
But
part of her.
it's part of
Yeah.
her life and
Yeah.
her story. So
That's
I get
fabulous.
to do it.
It's amazing you get to do it, and it's really paying homage. Like even sitting here talking and sharing
Mhm.
all of this with us, taking someone that was bigger than life
Mhm.
and really giving the devil their due.
Mhm.
She got Alzheimer's, and she could be forgotten, and that's the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We never want to let sensational performers like that ever be
No.
forgotten.
And we
But
want.
I love the creativity, the creative way that you are presenting this icon.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
brilliant.
It's just it's magical because there's a point in the show where I'm no longer doing it. I've done all the work and the research, but the story
Right.
is so good and the music is so good that there's a point where like the audience just transcends and they believe that I'm
Right.
Rita Hayworth. I get applause for films, I mean, when I did, Blood and Sand with Tyrone Power. Oh, I love that.
How cool.
I love
I
that.
want to tell you, B. Claudia just joined us from Germany. She's a great
Oh, hi,
supporter
B.
of the show. B, we're talking about Rita Hayworth, who our brilliant Quinn Lemley portrays so well in The Heat is On. So how do you feel about, this is your last show.
Well,
It won't be eventually I'm sure you'll.
Yeah, no, we're going to
evolve.
go back. We're going to, in the fall, we start touring
Good.
again.
Okay.
But this was a magical time because we were only supposed to do September to December and at Don't Tell Mamas. And the reviews were so great.
Wait, I have the New York Times one. I'm so impressed.
New
I
York
love the
Times
Times. Yeah.
review.
Dazzling with one show-stopping number after the other. And yeah, even from your little clip, you could
Bravo.
dazzling and just, my God, you brought new life to somebody.
Well, we wanted it. We
That's
wanted it to
incredible.
be, even though it's a dark life or a tragic life, that there's such joy, and so there's such, when Rita Hayworth is on the screen, she just lights it up, and what a gift! And when she danced with Fred Astaire, he was his favorite dance partner, and it's magic, and it transcends even these generations now. It's inspiring, and we want her life to be an inspiration, not to look at a tragedy.
Right.
Right.
And you're making it, you are creating that.
Yeah.
But all she had to go through to get where she was, she would have appreciated I'm guessing she would have appreciated those moments, like dancing with Fred Astaire and all of that. Would have just been so joyful.
Oh, can you imagine? But she worked hard. You know, she practiced. She'd work until her feet bled, and you know, she did the work. And then you put the work aside, and then you're no longer rehearsing, and you're performing, and you're just being. And she radiates that on screen. And she was so good at like reacting on you know, in her acting moments too. I mean, Gilda is such a spectacular, not to mention the costumes. I mean,
the costumes. Oh my gosh.
I mean, could you imagine if I have Mr. Wendell, but and Mr. Wendell's fabulous. I sing and dance and talk while I change into 5 costumes.
Oh my God, I love it.
Okay, she can walk and chew gum. I'm like, that is just too much. I mean,
well, Burlesque to Broadway, we like the whole costumes are like a character. Mr. Wendell, they all break apart.
And they would have to right.
You know, and so like they're putting them on and off, and the audience just they transform. They're like a character.
Oh yeah, a brilliant way to use that actually, and bring your audience in with you.
Yeah,
you are just you sparkle. Your energy is incredible. How do you, because we're talking about Rita Hayworth and dark times for her. All of us have dark times. What is your secret?
I think I'm an eternal optimist.
Me too. What
sign
are you?
I'm an Aries. What are you?
I'm a Capricorn.
I love
Taurus.
Yeah, that's right. Tim suffers from the. No, it's amazing to be like that. You know, my glass is always full, and sometimes it just spills over, no matter what's going on in it. That's how I see life. That is both good and bad, because sometimes when people are not so kind, you're still always finding the good. And sometimes I hate to say this, sometimes the good just ain't there.
Yeah, on occasion.
Right.
Just move on and find more good somewhere.
Right. We have to, Tim just said it. You have to surround yourself with the positivity of those incredible people.
And the energy of people that are, you know, that are all facing in the same direction, you know, and like having your pod, having great friends around you, and having great collaborators, you know, around
people that infuse you with more creativity.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's very important. One thing that I found, it's very important to surround yourself with supportive people and be a support for them as well.
Yeah.
You know, that makes life completely different.
Yes, definitely.
I have to say, the pandemic, right before the pandemic, January 24th, I gave a huge party, and I tell you
that was fun.
Because I had seen Tim's opening. I went to his opening night for Junk, but that was the only contact I ever had with him. And then my friend Nick Lyon, who helped me produce my huge party, who was another one I just kind of ran into. You have to understand, these were not long. I had all different friends and the people I'm naming. January 24th, I gave this amazing party. It was the last big party anyone gave in New York. And all of these people came to perform for me. Margot Channing, Tim Moss, Tammy Faye.
Tammy Faye,
Right, I knew of some of them, didn't really know them. And the end of February, we started hearing these rumblings about this thing, the pandemic. And I kept questioning. That night I was on stage thanking everyone. I felt, and I don't know, you're probably intuitive too. All of a sudden I started to hear a whoosh in my ear, like a wave. And it came over me. And it was like I wasn't even in the room anymore. And there was a message being sent to me that my whole life was going to change. So being a performer, I was sure I was going to finally get that sitcom that I wanted to do so badly.
You need a sitcom.
Right. I need a sitcom. I knew it was coming. Something was coming, and I could feel it. And damn, it wasn't that. March 12th, they shut New York down. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do now? And the next thing I know, I'm on all of these Zoom shows and doing I didn't know any of these people. They all become my friends. Tim Moss and I sat out here in front of PANGEA one night, and I said, we need to do something. I said, let's have a show. The restaurant's empty inside. It's shut down. We can really pay homage to a place PANGEA has supported artists.
PANGEA is amazing.
Right. So my whole life completely changed during the pandemic. The only constant thing I still have is Alan, who's my husband, Alan, whose beautiful artwork is hanging here. But everything else became different. And it was the pandemic for me was absolutely life altering. I hate saying that because it was such a terrible thing on so many levels.
Right. Now, how did you navigate the pandemic?
Well, what's the day that New York shut
March
down? The
12th. I'll never
so
forget
the 11th, well, we were supposed to leave on the 12th. My husband and I had our first wedding anniversary in Mexico, in Maroma, and we were going with our little dog, Zoe.
Oh, you have a dog.
And so what happened was he was like, oh, we have to leave a day early. So we left and we went there with Zoe, and I mean, dogs weren't really allowed, but we got married. We got married there, so they knew us, and it was this.
Well, and she was your best dog.
Yeah, she was my flower dog in our. But and the staff there loved her. So, but what was so weird was that the whole world started. We were there, and there were Brits and people from Europe, and a lot of Canadians, and so on, and so. And all the resorts started shutting down. And so it was Paul and Zoe and I and this couple from New Jersey, or not New Jersey, from Connecticut, Vinny and Nancy. Vinny and Nancy. And so Paul and I were filming everything. And as people were leaving and they were sending flights, the last flight to Cancun for the UK and all of that. And Paul and I stayed. We wound up being there in this 5-star resort for 3 months.
Get out. Okay,
our dog.
Wait, Tim, this pandemic story. I'm so glad you asked.
Seriously, it doesn't get better than that.
Story, and this is another show for you to do.
I did I edited this documentary during the pandemic.
It's freaking
it was just about our connection with the people and Vinny and Nancy, and then nature, and to be in this paradise. And there's no sound. There's no music.
Wow.
No helicopter.
But your hotel bill.
Well, we were just as lucky as the staff. We were all together, So.
Oh my God.
They needed something to do.
They
made like every night, like they would create different like floral arrangements.
I love this story.
The chef was like begging us. He's like, please, what can I cook? Or
oh my God, that's great.
And we're very celebratory, so nothing was unappreciated.
No, I'm sure.
And we just but it was also just it was worrisome because we'd watch Cuomo every day.
Oh my God, remember that, Tim?
Right? Every day, and we'd watch all those beds at the Javits Center and in.
Oh my God!
So it was stressful.
It was
very real here. It was very real here.
But we thought we were safer there than coming home.
I have other friends that actually ended up going there after the fact.
Oh, really?
And yes. And working it so they could work out of it. A lot of people did go to Mexico, but what's so amazing about Quinn's story, to be everything shut down, you were basically marooned there. What a great place.
We went into Playa del Carmen to see if we could rent an apartment or something.
Yeah, right.
But like that day when we went in, it was like the end of March, my birthday, March 30th, and everything was shutting down. They had machine guns. People were wearing masks for the first time. And the thing was that I speak French, but my Spanish, I put O's and A's on the back end of the words.
Yeah.
And we were good with like hola and por favor and ice cubes. What do you say? Yellow. It's our ice cubes. But so we didn't think we could navigate like going to the store and quarantine. So when the owners of the resort said, well, why don't you stay here?
Wow.
How amazing. Did you entertain them? Did you sing for them?
Well, I entertained the lobsters. They like Frank Sinatra. And so I'd sing, come fly with me.
Come fly.
Yes, and they would and then we couldn't eat them so the chef was like, because every day we'd play ping pong and sing to the lobsters, and we got a pet iguana. And
I know all about iguanas.
Yes,
you can.
They're crazy.
They eat maraschino cherries.
They like red fruit.
They do. They eat maraschino cherries. Did you feed your iguana?
Yes, every day. Zoe and Paul and I would go and we'd feed, and he like we thought Harold was his name, but on Mother's Day we found out that he was Haroldina. He was a mother. He was a female.
Harold. No, I love Haroldina.
But she loved, and every day she'd get closer and closer and closer. And Zoe wasn't quite sure what to do with her, but she got really close. And so, it was interesting because the fish started coming in. We caught a crocodile, a baby crocodile.
You caught a crocodile?
Well, we didn't. I filmed it, and the crew did. The guy had one oar, and it was
what an amazing.
Wow.
But were you ever? First of all, I have some incredible stories from other people, but this one, honest to God, Tim, really tough. Stranded in a 5-star hotel. Of course you are, because that's the kind of person she is, because she attracts that kind of incredible.
Just total fabulousness.
Yeah, right. Thanks,
Tim, you'd like this because to entertain ourselves, we'd get dressed up every night and we'd walk down this flight of stairs for dinner.
Oh.
And so we'd have to do so I can't do a fashion show for each other.
Yes.
Then I would do my ballroom dance workout, and I'd get the waiters to do,
they must have loved having you. What a fabulous person to be stranded with. Were you ever at any point? I know you watched the Cuomo thing, but at any point did you kind of freak out a little bit?
Yeah, we were going stir crazy. I mean, there. I have footage where we're just going crazy because it's paradise, but you're worried and you want to get your life back. And finally, when the numbers came down, and then it was social distancing was really weird. My husband took it literally, and so we come back to JFK with Zoe, and we got a limo, so we were 6 feet away from the.
That's hilarious.
And there was no traffic. We got from JFK to the Upper West Side less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it was just total culture shock because West End Avenue was closed.
Right. The streets were empty.
And you really the parks were so crowded. I mean,
people had nowhere to go, right?
Nowhere to go. And then trying to figure out, doing all these podcasts and so on, or Zoom calls. I started editing, and I learned how to do Premiere, and I was doing a lot of hosting online, conferences and so on.
Yeah, that's what was available to us at the time. Yeah.
But the hardest thing for me was the music thing. I did do a benefit for a synagogue, and I had to go into our recording studio because Zoom has a lag. Now, we've kind of got it down, but back then
I remember the lag. Tim knows about that.
And the mouth doesn't go, and we couldn't be in the same room with our pianists. And so, so I was doing that to track, and we went into to Dubway Studios downtown. And actually I was in one room and the engineer was in another. And then he had to do all these, it was so complicated. And then to do a concert, with all these faces. And of course the rabbi's going, he was very flamboyant. Right. He was I was doing Marlene Dietrich songs and things like that. And he's lip syncing. So the
rabbi was lip syncing.
He was a rabbi. It was Sparkles. He was fabulous.
What congregation was it? I know some of the synagogue.
By the Sea, Shul by the Sea.
Shul by the Sea. Wow.
And they're just such a great congregation.
I love that you did this.
I was really glad because I was like, how am I going to do the Zoom concert thing and have it sound good and look good for a fundraiser for a gala?
It's amazing. Yeah. People put, think about this. They put galas together online on Zoom.
Yeah. We figured out how to do these things.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, of course I wore my costumes, I was wearing
well, you have to. Yeah.
And it was so funny because they were like, really, you're going to wear costumes and, but you're seated. And I was like, well, you can see from here up,
it's wow. But best pandemic story ever. Okay, I have to ask you this. So, reading about you, you have a lifestyle brand. You were on Shark Tank.
Well, we were almost on Shark Tank.
Tell me your Shark Tank story.
Oh my God! So
lifestyle brand.
Yes, we were with Mary, and we were developing Burlesque to Broadway, and we wanted to take it to the next level, and we wanted to add more girls, and do more costume, more feathers,
more glamour, more glitz.
And so we were at this
more cowbell.
Yeah, more cowbell. And so we were with Mary, and we were at the Small Business Expo here on the pier that they do, and Shark Tank was there, and Paul and I had gotten really good in terms of preparing our pitches because we're business people, we're producers as well as perform. I'm a performer, and so we had our pitch down and everything. And Mary's like, the Shark Tank is doing, you know, their season. Why don't you guys do
I can hear Mary saying that,
do your
right,
bit?
right,
and
right.
and so
Go to-
Paul and I were there all day, and we're like, oh no, and all these entrepreneurs are lined up and everything, and so she's like, go do it. So we waited till the end of the day, and we went and did our little pitch, because we're symbiotic, and when we were talking together, and next thing we know, the next week we get a call back, and they're from LA.
Love it.
And they're like, can you put together a 5-minute video? And so of course Paul and I come out with our pitch sharks, and we're in feathers, and we make it as theatrical as possible.
Of course.
Yes.
And it was amazing. But it was like a 6-month study in business school, because that you have to have all these numbers, your projections, your historicals, everything. And so it's a reality show, so they keep you off. You're working on your segment with the producers, and we had all our numbers. I mean, we did everything. And I'm a Toastmaster, and I had a neighbor. That's how Mary and I had to do that together.
Toastmasters,
And so we had I had a friend who does statistics, and I'm not so good at, like, you know, formulas and stuff. I'm a creative person. And but we did it. And so I said, can you come by and just look at our formula? And then she said, oh my God. And we had to tell her what we were doing and our little pitch and everything, because she wanted to see it. And she said, well, if the sharks don't bite, I would love to be your producer. I would love to be an investor in your show.
investor. Wow.
And so 2 days later, the producer called and said, the Sharks want you to come next season. And we didn't want to wait a year. And so we actually, it was a best of both worlds, because, you know, Shark Tank isn't really right for like show business. They don't really invest in shows.
Right.
And so we got our investor, and she was perfect. And she, you know, it was great.
That's perfect.
But it was quite a
story.
journey. It was quite a journey.
Wow.
But our pitch, oh my God.
Can you give us a little of your pitch?
Well, you know, like, hello, sharks, you know, coming out of the, and then I did a piece of, of the monologue. I do a section of Gypsy Rose Lee's actual show.
Love it.
The real Gypsy.
The real.
I'm looking for someone, you know, to amplify my assets, you know.
Yeah.
And someone who's, you know, someone who can, you know, get to the bottom line. That whole thing. And in the show, we do it to I do it to Peter Gunn, the theme of Peter Gunn, and then I go into My Heart Belongs to Daddy.
Yes.
So it's super fun.
Super fun.
Yeah.
I would have first of all loved to see you on Shark Tank, because as you just said,
well, I think it was a blessing in disguise
it
that we
was,
didn't get
right.
on it.
And everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
It does, and we
Right.
you know, we had our creative.
But they
freedom.
could use a you, really. No, it's like some of these shows, they're boring. I don't want to look at these people.
Oh, I agree.
Right.
But the
They
problem,
definitely need directors.
Right.
yeah, but like you were saying, they're not looking for creative ventures. They're looking for something tangible, something you can hold in your hand in a
And they take such large portions of the company.
exactly.
Right. Well, that's the downside, right? They are sharks. They eat up a portion of your profits.
No, and I need my fin.
This girl doesn't work finless. No, sorry.
Well, you've been watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing and wonderful and delightful guest, Quinn Lemley.
Yes.
Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Now tell us again, just remind everybody about your show and how they can come to see it.
Yes, tomorrow night, the 23rd, in New York City at Don't Tell Mamas.
I'm going.
Wendy's going. We're gonna have it's gonna be a party. It's so they can get reservations at don'ttellmamanyc.com. And then if you want to be on my mailing list and you want some free music, just subscribe when you go to quinnlemley.com. And then once a month, I do a podcast, a concert, and then we do a chat afterwards, like, you know, a VIP meet and greet afterwards. And so we're going to do that on the 30th. It's called Up Close and Personal with Quinn Lemley and Tom Wilson, my pianist. And we talk about, like, we do all, you know, music from Rita, from Burlesque, from new stuff. And now that Rita's waiting until September to go back on the road, I'm gonna like start doing some new material and you know, kind of like the jukebox, that jukebox, postmodern jukebox kind
like 50s into
Yeah,
60s.
Yeah, doing it in
Interesting.
contemporary songs with
Yeah.
like a twist.
I love
So,
it. You
Yes.
never stop. It just never stops.
Well, you got to keep being creative.
You got to keep being,
and I
you know
love
what?
that.
You have it helps if you have an incredible partner that is creative. I
That
do.
is supportive.
Yes, we're looking at
Yes.
them.
We're looking at it. No, it really helps because this is a business sometimes where you really feel like you're dancing
Oh.
with your own. Right.
Yes.
We all experience that. And just to have somebody that gets it and that you can vent with.
And
And to have somebody say, why not? Like,
why not?
Like
right.
that is the greatest gift. Like, and also thinking outside of the box, because like in Burlesque to Broadway or Rita, changing the music, or Paul was like, why don't you do Johnny Lee Hooker's Boom Boom, that song?
Yeah.
And I'm like, 4 girls with a striptease doing Boom Boom. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to shoot you right down. It brings down the house.
Right. It totally worked.
I mean, and I was like, who, me to sing, something like that. And it just opens you up creatively, really discovering things that we might not wear a certain outfit, but somebody says, your husband says, oh, why don't you try this on? And then you're like, oh, it's a new look.
Right.
It's a new feel.
Right. Why don't you try? Those are the words. Why don't you try? Sometimes
and
you don't think that way.
And the thing that I love about you, Quinn, is you're open to new experiences and new creative ways of doing things. And so just always stay open to that, to trying new things and moving ahead and continue to evolve. Yep. You're constantly in motion and moving forward, and that's what I just love and admire about you.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, same with both of you.
That you know what? That's what it's all
Mary
about.
kept telling me that she kept. I mean, when I found out that Wendy was doing the show with you, Tim, I was like, oh my God, I love it.
We tried to make this happen so many times. First of all, for people that are watching, Mary Cooney is a very dear friend. We met on some weekends. I'm in Pennsylvania, where I've had a place for 22 years. My God. And Mary she gives wonderful parties. She's an amazing speaker. She's just a great person. She kept telling me about her friend, Quinn Lemley.
And she kept telling me about you.
Right. And Quinn and I, we were able to connect over Messenger, but we could never get a date for the show because she was hither, dither, and yonder. And you know what? This talks about staying power. You kept in touch. I kept in touch.
And this is the day before my last show. This is so
and
perfect.
it worked out, and it worked out perfectly as it was supposed to work out.
That's right.
So
absolutely.
But
from here moving forward, just keep in touch. Go to Quinn Lemley, and that's Quinn with 2 N's.
Yes.
QuinnLemley.com and find out everything about Quinn and what she's doing and what she's up to and upcoming shows.
And by the way, we love your name. We were talking about Chauncey.
Yes.
Your name.
What's
the story behind your name?
Well, I used to cry because I grew up in Indiana, Tim.
Quinn.
And I was like, the local mental place was called Quinco, and some people would call me Quinco, and I was like, Mom, why didn't you name me Barbara? Like the other girls have names, and it means 5 or Y's in Gaelic, and
I knew it was Gaelic.
Yeah. And so, but now, as an adult and as a teenager, I love having the name, and
it's
a great name.
Well, she didn't have to change her name for stage either. It's like you have a star's name. It's like so perfect. I knew it was Gaelic.
I'm glad my mom didn't change my name, even though I love Barbara.
I love it.
Well, Quinn Lemley, thank you. It's always such a pleasure to see you, and let's not make it nearly as long next time.
There you go. Right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Tim. It's always great to be here with you.
Yes.
Today we're both squares.
Yes.
Today we're in the boxes. And thank you, audience, for tuning in today. If you're celebrating Pride, have an amazing Pride. We will see everybody next week, Wednesday at 2:00. Be there or be square. If these walls could talk. Thank you, PANGEA, for everything that you do for all of us. Take care, everybody.
Bye.